for his questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Everybody wants clean air and clean water, and I really love the quote of Mr. Alford with the National Black Chamber of Commerce and its members when he said they value and support clean air, clean water, and environmental quality. We also value and support economic growth, job creation, and prosperity for our individual members and this country as a whole. These are not mutually exclusive goals. We hope EPA will hear the concerns of our organization and others and so on. Very well said. And you know, what the EPA is proposing at this point can harm not only businesses that we've talked about today. We've heard a lot about the businesses it would harm, but it can particularly harm seniors, and not just seniors in my district, but seniors across the nation with higher heating bills, higher utility bills, higher pharmaceutical bills, and on and on and on. And so essentially, whether we want to say it in such frank words or not, but they're proposing a hidden tax on consumers because somebody's got to pay for all this stuff, and it's going to be the consumer that does that. And you all seem like well-informed witnesses, and I appreciate all of you appearing here today. I'd just like to ask each one of you your opinion of how much you think the proposed regulations are going to cost the average American family. We'll start with Mr. Alford and go from left to right.
I think it's going to be a tremendous amount. I think it's going to cause loss of jobs. I think it's going to cause loss of homes. I think it's going to cause education being denied and good health being paid for. I think it's serious.
Okay.
I hope I answered it.
Thank you.
I think it's significant. When you talk about the link between wealth creation and a better environment and improved health, that's absolute. We see that across nations. And it's also critical to understand that increased regulation hits productivity the most. There's a clear negative impact on productivity. Study after study shows that. And guess what? Productivity is linked to income. So if we want to have not only job creation but higher incomes, this is not the way to go. It's a clear negative.
We are already paying for the cost of ozone pollution, and lowering the standard will benefit the health of many Americans. So just to take the example of where the evidence is most robust, that ozone contributes to asthma exacerbations. So take just one asthma exacerbation. You have the cost of a doctor's visit. You have the cost of the medications that the doctor prescribes to treat that asthma exacerbation. You may have the cost of an emergency room visit if the patient's asthma cannot be controlled with medications. You might have a cost of a hospitalization.
You think these costs are consistent with the upgraded requirement then?
I am saying that
my question is, how much do you think the cost will be to the average family if this policy is implemented?
I am a physician. I'm not an expert on the
Then just say I don't know. That's
costs,
allowable
but
here.
There are costs that are equally important that are not being discussed, and those are the human health costs.
But that wasn't the question. I appreciate it if you answer my question, if you can.
Thank you very much for the question. In my particular case, I'm a scientist, and so therefore I'm not an economist who understands the cost and the benefit. However, when background ozone contributes plays a major role in the total observed concentration, the implication is it's going to take a lot of cost, a lot of reduction effort to attain whatever level of the standard you're trying to get to. And the point being this, is that the red and the blue, the red, white, and blue figure I showed earlier with the mostly blue with a little bit of red, that little bit of red is going to be very costly to get rid of in some of those areas. So therefore, even if people say it doesn't matter what background is, it's the total observed concentration that's important, it's the relative contribution of background that will determine the amount of effort and the amount of cost associated with that reduction. Thank you.
Okay.
I would say that of course, the cost is going to show up in the price of goods and services. Anytime regulations go into effect, there's an ancillary cost to that, and so I wouldn't be able to give a number because that's way out of my field, but certainly it's going to cost the consumers more.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Posey. The gentlewoman from Oregon.